OverDrive, episode 9.
Yes, welcome everybody to episode 9. We've nearly made it to episode 10. We're going to get there.
Double figures.
We'll do it.
Nearly double figures.
And we've got a very mixed bag today for this episode, haven't we?
We've got something old. Got something even older.
Yeah.
Something slightly newer. And something very special. We have.
First, we have got a Rover 25 coming up, haven't we?
Yep. This was one of the last of the line Rover 25s from 2005. So it's a facelift model, has some rather nice things on the interior, and it is really a nice car.
Very good vintage, and when we filmed it, brought memories back of when I had my AMG ZR.
And mine as well.
Yeah, and we'll see some comparisons along the way. So here comes a Rover 25.
Last of the line Rover 25.
Yes, what a turn up for the books. It's basically a facelift model, isn't it?
Yeah, it was the absolute last of the line.
Yeah.
You've got all the usual Rover 25 stuff, but they've give you new soft touch buttons.
Yes, I kind of like some features in this. These new buttons are very tactile, aren't they? But they're easy to use.
Yeah.
And I do like what they did with these vents. This surrounding trim, especially you see it on the handles and such, looks like marble.
I mean, yeah. It does actually.
It's a very good touch to it.
I mean, the actual door, apart from the one or two bits, they are the same as the 25.
I am seeing a bit like a speaker
25,
thing there. They're very similar. But it's a nice cabin to be in.
Yeah.
Even
though the seats are black, we've had this in cars before. You've got the black seats, the black trim, and everything else, and you've got the light roof, but it's still very gloomy.
Yeah.
This isn't.
I don't think it feels gloomy in this. I think they've done some nice touches, like I said before, with surround with this effect. And also, what I do like with this one is we've got white dials.
Yeah.
Which I think really sets it off nicely.
Usually would be reserved for things like the performance models, like the.
That's what you'd sort of expect, wouldn't you? Yeah. And it really sets it off nice.
You've still got the old mirror switch thing there.
Yeah.
From the right back from when it was the 200.
Yes, yeah. Which is the model that I had, yeah.
Yeah, but the whole interior, or at least the dash, has been changed. I mean, they first saw this in the Streetwise.
That's it, the Streetwise, yeah. But I do remember my dash, you see, just completely sweeping across. And the vents wasn't as good as these. And no, I've noted about the switches for the windows are down here, a bit like some Saab model. I do like that. For where the gear stick is, the surround and everything, I think is nice how they've styled that. But I think they missed a little trick there, that they could have done exactly the same what they did with the vents and had a little chrome surround.
Yeah, they could have done that.
Maybe that's a little nitpicking thing, but I think they would have set it off nice. But I'm sure these seatbelts were exactly the same.
They were, yeah.
And I used to like these. They're fairly spring-loaded and that, and you had plenty of room for clipping in. You never got them fast anywhere.
Well, the seat retentions were good in these as well.
Yeah. We're talking full leather with this one as well. It is a damn good spec, isn't it?
It is.
It looks really good.
You've still got quite a lot of leg room. Not only that, but these particular seats, all leather, are quite supportive, considering this is a 13-year-old car.
Yeah, they are. These feel just as new as probably the day they were fitted to sit in. There's no issues with them. And they're very much on the borderline of the ZR seats that I had in my MG ZR. And mine were half leather.
Mine were.
And because I'm seeing the headrest exactly the same. The rear seats were sculptured very similar. So you get that sort of feeling.
One thing mine didn't have the centre.
Yes, I just noticed that. A centred armrest in a car like this, it's it's little things, isn't it, that it's got above others.
I think as well, for a small car, it was generous in boot space. It didn't compromise the boot space. In fact, I'd probably say this isn't far off what you have in the EcoSport. But,
yeah,
considering its size, it's an incredibly practical car.
It is.
This is a 2005 model, so it would have it probably was on the production line or just in the stores as the factory shut down.
Yeah, this is basically the last we've seen of him, and he's seen damn good, Nick, for his 2005, isn't it? It's still going strong. I think the lads informed us it's about 60,000 miles on clock, and it revs beautifully, this car. Just as I've been sat in it while he was doing some driving up and down in it, it revs lovely. 1.4 engine.
1.4 engine.
Yeah.
I mean, the K series was always a free revving engine.
It was, yeah. Yes, I used to like the K series that you got in the ZR. It was a lovely revving engine.
Do you know the one thing that strikes me with this interior over the previous one? Bear in mind, we're in exactly the same car as the 25 and the ZRs.
Yeah.
And it actually feels slightly bigger.
Yeah. I mean, this is a 5-door, isn't it? And I know my Rover 200 and my ZR were both 3 doors. But you are getting that feeling of a slight more room to it, aren't you?
Even though it's exactly the same car.
Yeah.
I think it's because just the way it's styled.
Yes, I think because of what they've done with the dash as well, and the way they've laid everything out like this, it is giving you more of a open feel, isn't it?
Yeah. The thing with the one thing that always struck me with the 25 was, and when it was the 200 as well, was how well it was designed.
Yeah.
I mean, even the 4-door. I mean, I actually prefer the 4-door, the look of the 4-door, to the 3-door.
Right.
And I don't know why. The only thing I can think is it's just the way that the back door follows the line.
Yes, I can see that. Yeah. And
it's almost like they designed it as a 4-door and then thought, 5-door.
Yeah.
And then thought, God, we've got to do a 3-door as well.
Can we do a 3-door? But yeah.
It's just.
I mean, I must admit, I did like the fact of owning my 3-door with the back windows. They had them pillar hinges where you could fold them out.
Yeah.
And I did like that. I thought that were all right, especially summertime. You could have your windows folded out a little bit. I know some people say, well, isn't that easy to get into and break into? But I used to think, well, no, not really.
No. It could be, but
that's like saying certain cars with certain locks we could easily get into them. So,
but the thing is, if somebody wants to get into your car, they've got to get into your car.
I had no issue, and I quite enjoyed them like that. Both on my ZR and my 200. If they were still going, it's a good company. And that's the thing.
The original 75s are a good example of that.
Well, they were. Look where they were heading. Look at what they had in the pipeline to have a go at making if they could have done.
Yeah.
So it just shows. Another car company lost at a price, and it's a shame.
They were a pretty good innovator.
It was.
Good thing to note on these as well. Very frugal on fuel. They were very good on fuel.
Yes, he informed me it can last up to a good week and a half with this with his normal commute.
Yeah.
Which my EcoSport can't even do that.
No.
And that's today's standards.
Yeah.
And that can't do that. Yes, a nice little tidy car. For what you could pick one of these up, you get a nice fair few years out of it and enjoy it at the time as well.
If you buy one, look after it, it'll look after you.
Yeah, it certainly will. So it's Rover 25 facelift model, all sorted.
I think we approve. That was the Rover 25. We now move on to something completely different.
A very big vehicle, this. Big is a word you could use loosely with this because it's mega, isn't it?
It's huge. It's definitely something different for us. And, well, it's an Audi 4x4.
Yes, it's the big range of them, and it's a Q7 with a black pack.
Yeah, so it's a white Q7 fitted with the black pack, and it's got rather a lot of extras.
It's basically, as you'll see in the video, Audi threw everything at it, and it's massive.
So let's have a look at the Q7 S-Line. Audi's Q7. This one is the S-Line. You can tell by the seats and the kick plates, and it's also on a couple of the badges outside. It's not obviously stated, is it?
No, it is logoed to give you them reminders, but not over the top. It's like I said, I can see one Quattro badge in here, there's one on the tailgate, there's one on the front grille, and that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
It is a diesel, this TDI.
Yeah, and a V6.
And it is a V6, but again, it's not really shouting the fact that it's got certain things. It comes with a black pack as well, this black edition thing that's Audi like to put on them. And it's just got them little extra touches, like on the grille and such. Just them little reminders.
Every single option that was available at the time on this car. In fact, Audi actually released this spec of car as the S-Line Plus.
Losing count of the amount of buttons and controls for this, that and everything.
And you've got quite a lot here in the centre console.
You have, but not too many.
But yet, it doesn't look too sparse. And even though you've got masses of controls there for radio, media, things to adjust the car, the play buttons and things like that, it doesn't look overcrowded.
No, like I say, everything for your multimedia, for your SIM cards and all that you can put in, sync your phone.
And the display is pretty clear as well. You get a lot of information on there. But
it's a lovely clear display, isn't it? Yeah.
But you're not overwhelmed with information.
No, it's subtle.
Because I think you actually mentioned this. The menu system's actually a little bit easier to navigate
I did.
than the BMW ones.
I'd say a lot easier. Audi are saying, here it is, there you go, and that's what you want, really. You don't want to be faffing about with menu plus menu and all that.
A couple of things to point out on this car. Because it has every single option that's available for the S-Line on the Q7, you actually have the strip lights underneath the metal.
Oh yes, these ambient lighting, which I love. They're a bit like an icy white, like with a blue tint to them, and I think they complement all this lovely. When it's lit, I think that'd look great.
You also have lights in the wing mirrors as well, at the bottom of the wing mirrors.
Yes, we've got these sort of, well, we call it puddle lights, haven't we?
You've got the standard puddle lights in the door when you open the door. You've also got a sensor. So if you see on the side
I can see like a little tiny, what's like a sensor.
So if you don't need the puddle lights lighting up, because it's bright daylight like it is now, then they won't.
Exterior, we've obviously got daytime running lights and things like that. More gadgets and more things to play with. It's just how you want it, you know.
Definitely. And the other thing is as well with the air suspension, it's very much like the Citroens of old, where you had you can adjust the suspension, the ride height, you can adjust the firmness with the sports setting. So there's a lot of things.
I think we have about 3 settings, don't we? We can have different levels of height and so on, and it's interesting to watch it go up and down. I like how this system works, where you can have your different ride heights.
Of course,
basically.
You've got your traction control button there to turn it off.
Yeah.
If you want to. You've got car settings, so you can then adjust all the settings on the main display.
And it's just all them little touches. Like I said, we've got all the dual controls for the front and everything for the climate and that, but we've got lots going on, continuing. We've got lots of vents and power points.
Yep, with 2 power points in the back for the rear passenger seats. We also have another power point in the back for the rear 2
which is
seats.
a good idea.
The rear seats are just as sculpted, and the ones for the rear 2, just as sculpted as these seats are.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
So you're going to be comfortable and held in place regardless of where you are in the car.
I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed wherever they're sat in the vehicle.
Something that I consider very important. Here's the Audi. They've still got a key. And the reason I consider this important is because relay crime.
Yeah, which is big now.
So somebody could actually come up to your house with a relay box, scan around, that code is then sent from your key to another box, which then opens the car, because as far as the car's concerned, your key is there, and somebody can literally get in and start the car and drive it off. And you don't even need to have your actual fob. Whereas when it's a key system, or it's a fob where you've got to insert it into the dash area, that then becomes a really good security feature.
It does, yeah.
Not only that, have you noticed where the key is? It's in the same place as the X6 was?
Yes. Yeah, it's in that area again, isn't it? Really, really nice entertainment system, all this. Sound system is Bose,
Yes.
and that's brilliant, as anyone will know. We have the big panoramic roof, which is great. Opens various ways and can also be all completely closed off
So you can
for
have
privacy.
the cover come over.
Yeah, it's going to be a perfect environment to be in. Absolutely super with a boot.
Yeah.
When it's open and you put in anything you've got to put in, all you have to do is touch of a button and it closes.
Yeah. Unlike many seven-seaters, when you've actually got all 7 seats up, you still have quite a bit of boot space.
There is, and when I saw that, I was quite pleased what was there with all the seats up. So you can imagine when all the seats are down, it's like shouting into a cave. It really is big with all the seats down.
It is, it's huge.
It is, so you'd never be wanting for space.
No.
And it really is just a great environment to be in. But the wheels. But two things with the wheels is not just the size. I think they've got the style of them right.
Yeah, and the colour.
And the colour. So I mean, them wheels are the sort that they're perfect for this vehicle.
Yeah, perfect size, perfect style, perfect colour, as you mentioned.
Perfect colour. I love that colour. But they're slightly deceiving that you think the brakes, especially the back, are up to. But believe me, they are.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because they have to be for a vehicle like this with the sheer power it has. When you get used to this vehicle and you're in it, you tend to not think of its sheer size
until you look at the mirrors.
Until you look at their mirrors, and their mirrors are massive. Yeah. And them's the little things that say, don't forget what you're in something really big here. And of course, when you climb outside and you see the sheer size, you are reminded.
Yeah.
It has the little flared wheel arches, nothing over the top, just subtle, giving it that bit of a stance on the road. And it's just everything. It all works. Exterior, interior. There's nothing you can really fault with the car at all. It's easy to use, but lots to use. Very taken with this vehicle.
Flappy paddles was
flappy paddles in there. Yeah, it took us a bit to sort of pin down and get, and I'm glad we did. Exactly how this one is, because this works, and I'm glad we got this one.
I like this one. I think this is the best 7-seater on the market.
Yeah, I'd agree there. It's not just about it being practical as well. I think it's enjoyable.
Yes.
And I think it'll give you that sort of, I've had a damn good ride when you get out of the car and you think, it's that sort of thing, yeah.
And look, it's even got indicators.
And it even has indicators.
So that was the Q7. As we see, it was an S-Line, but was generally the spec of the later S-Line Plus. But now, yet again, we have something completely different.
Something, I hope you can't hear me say this, but something now very old. We've got a Ford Puma now to see, and this Puma is mine. To coin a phrase, it's my Ford Puma, which I've just nicely got. How many of your cars have we filmed now? We're on to a fair few. We've had an ST, we've had a Puma, we've had an EcoSport, and so it may continue. But yeah, you take a look at this video and judge for yourself if you like the Puma or not. It wasn't around for long, so take in this video, and if you're thinking of buying one, just pay some attention to this. A few tips. Yeah. So here comes the Ford Puma. Right, and welcome to this video on this absolutely gorgeous day. And the car that you find me in today is a bit of a twist of a car. It's, for those of you in the know, you'll recognise it straight away. But for those of you not in the know or a bit unsure, I am currently sat in a Ford Puma, of all cars. A tasty little coupe of the time. Ford, in their wisdom, decided to make a little coupe based on the Fiesta in about 1997. They did promotional videos and some prototypes of what they wanted, which it changed a lot beforehand, and this is what they came up with. But the bizarre thing is, everyone's sort of bought into the idea and loved the car, They did some special edition ones, and they also did a big racing Puma with flared arches and sports interior, Sparko seats and so on and all that. And everyone bought into the idea of this Puma and were liking the car. And then Ford, being Ford, just after 4 years said, right, no more, we're not making it. And they axed it. So, what do we have here? Well, over the time of Zoo making it, they first introduced 2 engines with the Puma. They got themselves a 1.4, which I think was a bit sluggish. Didn't fit the nature of this car. It was fine in Fiestas, but not this, I don't think. And the main engine of the ones that they had then was the 1.7, which were a lovely sounding revving engine. And it was really, if I advise, if you can, and you get one in good nick, if it's a 1.7, go for it, because that is the engine to have. The one I'm sat in, which is actually my own car, is a 1.6, which introduced slightly later. I think it was a bit halfway through the Puma life. And it's still a nice, good sounding revving engine, loosely based on the Z-Tech S Fiesta engine. This is classed as a Z-Tech SE, apparently. And it's a lovely sounding engine. These Pumas were notorious, funnily enough, for rust. Especially the back wheel arches. For some reason, it was always the back wheel arches that bubbled up and went on the outside. Sometimes the underneath could be fine. The outside would just suddenly go. And you could have issues with the sills. So I would really recommend having a good look and a poke around one first. Don't just buy it and say, oh, well, I can sort the wheel arches out. But just have a good look around them, because these you can pick up for a fair price now. I've got this one. It just climbed over 52,000 miles when I got it. I've put a little bit on now, not a great deal, but a little bit. And for that mileage, at this price, 17-year-old, because it's on a 51 plate, and the bodywork's fine for its age. It's got its odd stone chips and scratches and so on. Interior's fine. It's weathered nicely. And I've just paid over 2,000 for this, and I don't think I've done bad, as long as mechanically it stays as it is. If we don't get no major issues, it'd be okay. So, what do we find with the insides of the Puma? Well, Fords at the time was never, let's say, over the top lavished with equipment. You can get a special edition one that's called a Thunder one, which is a 1.7, and the Millennium, which gave you full leather. These are just the typical fabric with the regular Ford pattern trim, which we always got this. They never went overboard with any different styles of fabric. It was as you got. And I think it just suited it nicely anyway. This one doesn't come with a Lux pack, so it is minus the heated windscreen, which, as I pointed out on To Do With the EcoSport, I would have loved, but I'm going to be in the same boat, but hey-ho. And it's not got air conditioning as this. But we find the regular CD player, stereo, pop the centrepiece out, and you've got a little bit of a security feature. Another flashing LED, you can put that in the house with you. It just makes it look more like there's no point in me taking that stereo, blah-de-blah. It's just a little added bonus. And you've got the main security light up there anyway, so it gives you 2 things. You get a lovely brushed, like aluminium effect around the centrepiece console, and it's topped off with some lovely sporty white dials. I think these would have been poor if they'd have given them a very dark look. So we're having these white ones. I think it really sets it off nicely, gives it that sporty feel. And with it being a sort of coupe thing, and you've probably seen the advert with Steve McQueen driving it around and all that, and how it looks all flash and good. We have a gear knob, an aluminium gear knob, which I think sets it off nicely. I think, again, if that had been the old plain black rubber gear knob or whatever on top, something very basic, it would have really thrown it. It just gives it that added sporty touch. You have the Puma logo down there to always remind you what you're in, if you didn't know. And just because it's based on the Fiesta, don't think it drives like one, because I personally have had a few Fiestas and this now, and it doesn't. Yeah, you peel the costume jewellery where you find the Fiesta chassis and so on, but it's got its own driving style. It really has. It's just like a freaking go-kart. You feel so low to the ground. It has its own little driving style. And I thought that's how Ford got that bang on right. This sort of hugs the road. And you don't, if you go over a pothole or grate, you don't suddenly go and it breaks your spine. You don't get none of that in this. No, it just sits nicely. No, I think they got the design on the inside and outside right with this. And if there is any of you out there that's either got one or thinking of getting one, I'd say go for it. I'm sure people could probably get in touch with us and tell me any things that, oh, you should do that with it, you should do that. And I can find that you're going to have a problem with this and it's an easy fix, blah, blah, blah. If there's anyone out there, give us a shout, because they are a popular car. And to get one in a good nick, if you look after it, I think you might get maybe a nice return, or at least break even on it if you had to sell it. So with the 1.6 engine, sort of on the same borderlines of the Fiesta Z-Tech S, so I ain't got the 1.7. But I haven't got the sluggish 1.4, I'm glad of that. It is what it is, and for a 17-year-old car, I think we're going to find out if this pussycat's still got some growl, or if it's now turned into a bit of an old retiring one. We shall see. Obviously, it's a coupe, so we've only got 1, 2, and 2 seats in the back. Space-wise, obviously if you're not someone who's massive, you'll be actually fine in the back, actually, space-wise. It's pretty good. And the boot space, I suppose, with the seats down, you probably get some decent stuff in there. You're not cramped. You're certainly not cramped at all. I've got this seat fairly back, and I'm all right for legroom and such. So, yes, it's just one of those fun little cars. And on a day like this, it's coming up dividends, and a nice bit of a fun drive in it. So that's my Ford Puma, for a change. All bought out and bought up, paid for all the job lot. And we'll see now if I don't have to throw money at it. So that was my Ford Puma. And Malcolm's got one now, which is a complete contrast to that.
So now we look at something a little bit special. We've popped into NK Prestige Motors again near Huddersfield, and you may recognise the sofa from last episode.
Dead comfy, is it?
Yeah, we like it. But on popping in before, I spotted a nice little car, and after a couple of other projects got cancelled, we popped in on the off chance of being able to film this, and they said yes. So here we have the AMG C63.
Beautiful car, this.
AMG C63. So let's have a look at the interior. We have a rather nice feature. We pop the fob in, and the whole thing adjusts to you. You can see at the side here, memory buttons for the seat buttons, which are all on the side. Really good feature, that. Not far away, window buttons as well, and wing mirror. So you've got your wing mirror controls all there. Lock and unlock buttons all within reach of the driver without having to be too far away from the wheel. This particular car is an automatic. So we've got down here the automatic gear lever, and we've got a simple control for the various bits and pieces that are available. Quite a sort of busy little steering wheel as well. You've got your flappy paddle controls there, you've your indicator stalks. In the front we also have a stowage area, 2 buttons either side. So we've got one this side and we've got one on the driver's side, so that you can pop it open and away it goes. Inside you have a funny connector. You've actually got USB in there as well, and you've got an audio in. We've got a nice clear display right in the middle. You can see there straight away. We've got the radio on. But the sound quality is fantastic. It's like most cars in this sort of range. You've got a really good quality of sound and quite a few flexible options as well. Quite a few different things on the display. So you can actually look at storage for the radio. We can then select things like navigation. We can set telephone, video. We've got quite a few changes empty. We've got quite a few different options there. And once you get used to going around with it, you can eventually configure the display, text reader speeds. So if you've got to take an audio book or something like that, you can do that. And you've got Bluetooth. And you can reset all the information. You can even turn the display off. You've got different apps that you can load. Go to the mobile website, have different favourites. There's quite a few different things you can actually have. Once you get used to it, it isn't that bad, but it is a bit of a faff to start with as you're figuring it out. We've got quite a nice back area. Only 2 seats though, so this is only a 4-seater. With the middle where the normal seat taken up, has a bit of a cubby hole and a cup holder with a slide-on cover, a bit like this one. So you can sort of hide the cup holders away if need be. And I've got the same in the back. One thing, if you're trying to get into the back, doesn't appear to be a lot of room there. But when you pull the seat forward, it moves. To get easier access, especially for tall people, in and out of the back. Nice swept dash, which just goes all the way along the car. And in the middle we've got a nicely placed cluster of buttons. Again, this comes in handy for the phone system because you've got the phone buttons there. You've got the different buttons for the various controls, and you also have another central control in the middle, which helps you turn the display on and off, and mirrors all the buttons that you've got here on the center console. What else have we got? All sorts of things. We have the air conditioning controls down at the bottom. So we've got a physical tactile control, but it's this dash display that really stands out. And if everything's off at the start, you will get a nice little AMG logo right in the middle. Despite it saying it's a 6.3, this is actually a 6.2 litre engine. 6.208 litres. So Mercedes being Mercedes, well, we're over 6.2. Let's make it a 6.3. It's 457 brake horsepower and has a limited top speed of 155 miles per hour. Steering wheel, absolutely lovely. Very well proportioned, just right for this kind of car. It's a really nice feel to it, as have pretty much everything in here. Foot operated parking brakes. We've got the lever down here to pull, and we've got the foot pedal down the bottom to actually activate it. So no actual handbrake here, spoiling the contours of the centre console. I think we need to have a look at the outside. Over to Martin.
Now then, Malcolm has very kindly let me do the outsides of this car, and boy am I glad, because just look at this, look at it. Seeing this in your rear view mirror coming up, an imposing thing like this, and yes, I've got my wide wheel arches back. I love this styling. This is Mercedes going on this. The lovely woven mesh grille, right down to the front splitter here in carbon fibre. The massive Merc badge. The wheels on this, I think these are brilliant. These are like a satin black, and they complement this colour and the aggressive looks of this car perfectly. Very subtle little touches for this Merc. As Malcolm said, we've actually got a 6.2, but they have kindly let us have a 6.3 badge on it. I think the badge is striking, so that's a good touch. Both sides of the wings then. These, the wing mirrors, I think are just nice and elegant enough. They're not brashing over the top. We have, by the looks of this, a split sunroof. Very nice. Gives you nice light into the car. Lovely coupe design. As you know with me, I'm a bit that way. I like my coupes more than I do 5 doors. The BMW M3 considering, but this works. This really works well. And one thing I really love this. The back of this with the exhaust and the diffuser on the back is awesome. It's absolutely massive. You can get a Mini through one of these. The massive exhaust, all AMG logoed, carbon fibre going on again. Nice little touches of the AMG badge, not too much in your face. A very, very impressive car. We've got a lovely privacy glass with side black touches and privacy on the top. It's all moody and menacing for the AMG look. It really works well. As Malcolm pointed out, the interior, tons of features going on, but I'd say subtle on the outside. DUR logoed with your kick plates, AMG, exactly the same. Just those little reminders to let you know what you're in. We all know about Germans' attention to detail. We've even got the Mercedes logo on the wipers of all things. But yes, I really love this car. We've got a nice headlight arrangement. It's not too much in your face, very subtle, but yet goes with a whole front that makes it look a bit of a beast of a car. You see this in your mirror coming, you know what it is, you really do. Driving it, you'll definitely know the difference. Be a massive powerhouse. Some nice little touches of vents, but I think, I'm not 100% sure, these might be just decoration. But it's got it going on. It's a really, really impressive car, and I'm impressed with it. I'm not going to go massively over on the outsides purely because AMG didn't, and that's the key thing. They haven't gone silly, they've gone subtle, but they've done it right.
That was the AMG C63, and what a car it is. I mean, we didn't have the engine running because it's inside and we'd have been deafened. But it really does roar when you want it to. But yeah, that's it for this episode now.
It is, that sort of wraps up episode 9 and being a very mixed bag. I'm sure that out of the 4 there'll be something out of there that you'll enjoy, surely, because they're all different. Yeah. They all have their own little way.
And don't forget, they will all be released as extended standalone reviews over the next couple of weeks.
They will, after a while, they will be down as separate pieces. I'm sure you'll have your favourites out of them, as we have. I won't be biased and say mine was the favourite one, but I've got to slightly say that. But yes, they've all been enjoyable to make, as always, and it's always been a pleasure to make them with Malcolm, and I thank him again.
And yeah, there's a few changes coming along in OverDrive going forward, so we'll tell you about those as they come up.
Yes, as we get into double figures, you may see some slight changes. I'd say all for the better, and we'll see how things go with all that, and we'll all enjoy making more videos as we will for your pleasure. So on that note, I think without further ado, it's time to say goodbye again, isn't it?
Yep, so until next time, don't forget to subscribe and like us as well.
Yep, and for all those that are already doing it, big thumbs up, thank you for that, and may it continue, and we will see you in episode 10. We'll be into the double figures.
So, see you in 10.
So see you in 10. Cheers.
Bye.